Nestled amidst the majestic Himalayas, Tibet is a land steeped in spirituality, unique cultural traditions, and breathtaking natural beauty, surrounded by towering peaks. Stay with us to learn about the system of fraternal polyandry, a tradition not widely accepted elsewhere. The ancient history of Tibet is a fascinating tale of endurance, spirituality, and tradition that has endured over the centuries. Since time immemorial, this mystical and enigmatic place has been home to a rich and vibrant culture, marked by the influence of Tibetan Buddhism and the presence of the figure of the Dalai Lama. The majestic mountains and vast landscapes of Tibet have witnessed countless battles, conquests, and moments of peace and harmony. Its proud and courageous people have resisted oppression and invasion throughout history, keeping their cultural and spiritual identity alive. The teachings of Tibetan Buddhism, passed down through generations, have been a source of inspiration and comfort to millions of people around the world. The philosophy of compassion and wisdom that emanates from this tradition is a beacon of hope in a world filled with conflict and inequality. The figure of the Dalai Lama, the spiritual and political leader of Tibet, embodies peaceful resistance and the fight for freedom and justice. His message of love and compassion has transcended borders and touched the hearts of people of all cultures and beliefs. Let's explore their culture, starting with the nomadic herders of the plateau. The identity of Tibet's nomadic herders is a complex and fascinating topic that has been studied by anthropologists and sociologists. These herders, known as Drokpa, have inhabited the vast plains and mountains of Tibet for centuries, leading a life in close connection with nature and its animals. The identity of Tibetan nomadic herders is strongly influenced by their itinerant way of life, which has allowed them to develop unique adaptation and survival skills. Their identity is closely linked to their ancestral traditions, their language, their religious beliefs, and their relationship with the land and the animals they herd. Over the years, cultural assimilation policies and the pressure of economic development have jeopardized the identity of Tibet's nomadic herders, leading to an increasing loss of their traditions and way of life. However, many of them continue to resist and fight to preserve their identity and unique way of life. It is interesting because with an average altitude exceeding 4,000 meters, Tibet is known as the roof of the world. Surrounded by imposing mountain ranges, in particular the majestic Himalayas, the high landscapes of Tibet create a breathtaking panorama. Considering that this is a religious place, Mount Kailash holds immense significance for Buddhists, Hindus, followers of the Bon religion, and Jains. Revered as a sacred center, it attracts pilgrims from all walks of life to this holy place. Located in close proximity to the revered Lake Manasarovar, Mount Kailash is a lifelong pilgrimage destination, captivating the hearts and souls of those seeking spiritual enlightenment. It is believed that performing the Kailash Manasarovar Yatra will purify sins and bring good fortune. And almost all Tibetans believe that going around Mount Kailash once during the year of the horse is equivalent to the spiritual impact of going around it 13 times in other years. For ordinary tourists, Mount Kailash is also worth a visit. The 3-day trek around Mount Kailash can be a unique experience and a great sense of personal achievement. But Buddhism is the fundamental pillar of Tibetan culture and permeates every aspect of daily life. It has a profound influence on the beliefs, traditions, and values of the Tibetan people. With its rich spiritual legacy, Buddhism shapes their worldview, guides their interactions with the world, and provides a source of solace and wisdom. Monasteries, meditation practices, and religious rituals are integral parts of Tibetan society, demonstrating the deep-rooted connection between Buddhism and the fabric of Tibetan culture. It is therefore not surprising that in Tibet, where more than 90% of the population profess Tibetan Buddhism, there were once more than 7,000 monasteries. Today, there are still more than 1,000 monasteries. Tibetan monasteries that you must visit during your Tibet trip include Potala Palace, Jokang Temple, Sera Monastery, Tashil Hunpo Monastery, etc. The people of the Tibetan Plateau, mainly of Tibetan descent, have developed a deep bond with the nature around them. Nomadic herding is a central part of their economy and way of life, with herds of yaks and goats providing not only food, but also textiles and materials for building homes. Spirituality also plays a major role in the lives of Tibetans on the plateau. Tibetan Buddhism, with its focus on compassion and karma, has shaped the way they relate to others and the natural environment. Buddhist monasteries and temples dot the landscape, serving as centers of study, meditation, and worship. If you've ever seen photos or videos of Tibet, you might remember the red and white of the Potala Palace, the colorful prayer flags, and the golden roof of the Jokang Temple. In fact, red, white, yellow, green, and blue are the 5 most common colors in Tibet, often found in Tibetan monasteries and some local decorations. They are the 5 main colors of Tibetan Buddhism. In Tibetan Buddhism, red means fire, which has the power to transform the illusion of attachment into the wisdom of discernment. White represents air, capable of cutting through the veil of ignorance and revealing the wisdom of reality. Yellow embodies earth, with the transformative ability to turn pride into the wisdom of equanimity when visualized in meditation. Green symbolizes water and offers the potential to transmute jealousy into the wisdom of achievement. Finally, blue represents space, where anger can be transformed into wisdom through focused meditation on this color. Here, everything moves at its own pace. If you want to know why, please like and share this content with others so they know that Tibet observes its own unique Tibetan lunar calendar, which has enormous cultural and religious significance. This traditional calendar, based on the phases of the moon, sets the pace of Tibetan life and festivals. The beginning of the Tibetan year typically falls between late January and early March, and marks the Losar festival, a vibrant celebration of new beginnings. The Tibetan lunar calendar not only guides the scheduling of festivals, ceremonies, and religious practices, but also symbolizes the profound interplay between time, spirituality, and Tibet's rich cultural heritage, adding to its appeal and distinctiveness. Access to Tibet is a sensitive and controversial issue due to the historical and political situation in the region. The Chinese government has imposed strict restrictions and controls on foreigners' access to Tibet, especially during times of political tensions or major events. For many, Tibet represents a unique spiritual and cultural destination, with its monasteries, temples, and Buddhist traditions. However, access to this autonomous region of China can be complicated and limited. Foreign tourists must obtain a special permit, known as the Tibet Entry Permit, to visit the region. This permit can only be obtained through authorized travel agencies and under certain conditions. In addition, the Chinese government strictly controls information disseminated about Tibet, censoring any content that could be considered sensitive or critical of its policies. I think that is why fraternal polyandry is a marriage system in which a woman marries 2 or more brothers at the same time. In the specific case of Tibet, this type of family configuration has historically been practiced in some communities as a way of ensuring the continuity of the lineage and the equitable distribution of land and resources among the brothers. In this structure, brothers share not only the same woman as a wife, but also family and economic responsibilities. This form of social organization can generate conflicts and tensions, but it can also promote solidarity and cooperation among family members. It is important to note that fraternal polyandry in Tibet is part of local culture and traditions, and has been practiced for centuries in some regions. Although it may seem strange to some people, it is essential to understand it within its specific cultural context in order to appreciate its complexity and meaning. The scarcity of women and resources in a community can have a profound impact on various aspects of society. And even if we don't understand other cultures or simply don't share their beliefs, we must understand that they are different. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss videos like Life in Mongolia and the most interesting facts about what this great empire and its community was like. See you on the next adventure.